Hello, my quilting friends. My name is Leah Day, and I have been getting lots of emails wondering about the difference between a Q-Zone hoop frame and a Hoop Frame Pro. This is our new version of the hoop frame. The Hoop Frame Pro comes with three things, well, technically two. The back table inserts and the dual track upgrade come together. They're fused together. As you can see, the track is installed here onto the back table inserts, and it's all bolted together, very much similar in build to the Continuum, the back tables on the Continuum frame. So it's really, really sturdy, really stable. The other thing that the Hoop Frame Pro comes with is Q-Zone leader cloth. And I know lots and lots of quilters love to have leader cloth. It reduces the amount of fabric that you need to cut for your backing, makes it a lot easier to load and continue rolling your quilt up as you advance it through the frame. So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to install this back table / dual track upgrade so you can transform any hoop frame into a Hoop Frame Pro. I'll also show you the difference between our old table inserts, which were really very flimsy in comparison to this new fused back table. So let's get started. Now, I don't want to confuse you. I have a regular Q-Zone hoop frame, but I added an extra product here. This is the back table inserts. And these are very different from the back table / dual track that I'm going to be adding. As you can see, this is just some thin plastic sheets that are stuck onto some rails that we add to the frame here and here. And they're just stuck on with some tape, basically. And they work, certainly you need the back table only to support a piece of paper in order to do pantos. So it's not like you need it to be super reinforced. But every once in a while, I am taking my frame apart and I'm wanting to set my home sewing machine down. And my home machine is kind of heavy and I sometimes worry about setting it down on something kind of so flimsy. So I really like the new back table inserts because they're so much more reinforced than these old ones. So if you have also upgraded and added the rear table inserts like this, what you'll want to do is remove those first. And I'm going to loosen and take out these bolts and remove those support brackets. Okay, so I have taken the time to strip down my frame. It is ready for the upgrade. I've removed the back and front rails. I've removed the top carriage, the bottom carriage. All of that is removed. And now what I'm going to do is unscrew these bolts here at the front. So you'll want to loosen those up and just unscrew these short bolts, but keep them in your hand because you're going to need them again for the next step. So there's 2 bolts here, and then there's 2 bolts on the left, and then I also have 2 bolts on the back on both sides as well, total of 4. So take your time going ahead and unscrew all of these, and this is where we're going to basically set the new back table in place and then screw these bolts back in. And I just realized once I remove these, there's not going to be anything holding these legs up. So I might want to just, that one can kind of just lean right up against the wall. But this one, I'm going to have to hang on to it with one hand so that way it doesn't fall. So keep that in mind. Once you remove this, it's just going to be basically 2 legs standing here. Okay, so I am on my own for this build, so I need to figure out a creative way of putting this together and being able to support both things at the same time. Now, what my goal is to basically put this corner of the new back table, this corner right here, on top of this little square of metal on the leg right there. And there's a front and a back. So I'm going to make sure that I get that lined up nicely. This is a little bit wobbly bobbly, that little bar, and I keep grabbing it, so I need to stop doing that. And I'm just going to line this up nicely. And I'm going to tilt that leg over until it looks right, until basically those 2 things are forming a right angle. It's at an angle because I'm, of course, using the floor to support me, but I think this is going to work fine. And then I'm going to line up. And there's 2 screw holes here, just corresponding with those screws we just took out. So I'm just going to very gently thread this. And as I've said with all frames, any build, you want to just get it finger tight first and get everything lined up and then take your screwdriver and tighten it. You don't want to just go whole hog tightening everything up immediately from the beginning because, as you want to level and, of course, might need a little bit of an adjustment here and there. Like I can already see that bracket here on this side needs to shift upwards a little bit. So sometimes you need just a little bit more play in these brackets, and having them slightly loose is very helpful. When you get things too tight, anytime you're building anything, when you get things too tight, then everything starts fighting you and does not want to go together nicely. So this is a close-up, so you can see here is this little kind of shelf of metal, this bracket that I'm going to basically just set the end of the table down on. And then I want to bring this in alignment so that way those screw holes are lined up with the screw holes on the tabletop on that bar. Now you may need to loosen these screws just ever so slightly because this bracket has some built-in shifting here. It has a little bit of play in both directions. You see how wide that hole is? It's an oval. It is not just a circle. That implies that you have some play here, some movement. You may need to even loosen these a little bit more so that way you can shift this around. You want the table, this plastic table, to be flush with the level of the leg. So you might have to wiggle this around a little bit and grab your bolts. And again, I just like to get these in and seated. And then once they're all in and everything looks good and the legs look level and straight, then I go in and tighten everything up. Another thing I want to make sure of is not to leave too much of a gap between the table and the side. So this is looking good, brackets in place, and now I'll tighten everything up. So now that we've upgraded to this dual track, we're going to need to switch the carriage so that it also has dual wheels. So we're going to attach these new sets of wheels to this bottom part of the carriage. So I've already unscrewed this bracket. You can see how easily that comes off. See how these wheels have just that single groove? That's designed for the single track on the original Q-Zone hoop frame. And these dual track, it's just a smoother gliding ride because you have 4 wheels and they're making such great contact with that double-sided track. All right, so this is a very important point. This is something I got wrong on my continuum frame when I first put it together, and that is to make sure that the side with the rubber on it goes in the front. So you'll want to make sure that that is how that is set up. Now down here on this side, I have a channel lock and I have my sure stitch encoder. So I want to make sure I've already loosened up my encoder spring. I want to make sure to take this off carefully so that way I don't lose it and it doesn't get damaged. And this is just general good advice. Anytime that you're making any sort of modification to your machine or to your frame and you have an encoder, encoders are very delicate. You want to take very good care of them and make sure that they don't get damaged. So I'm going to take that off. Make sure, you probably won't need the wheel or the spacer that came off, but you definitely will need the encoder. So I'm going to set that over here. And we are actually going to be changing out this channel lock, so you will no longer need this style. You'll need a different style in order to work with that dual track. And to remove the bar, once you remove both the channel lock and if you happen to have a sure stitch or an encoder, you just unscrew these bolts from the top. Okay, so here is a dual wheel assembly. This is one for the front of the carriage and has the rubber on top. And I'm going to screw that one in with these taller shoulder bolts. So make sure that you use those. And then over here, I've got the other dual wheel assembly that has just a metal top and then an aluminum metal spacer. And I'm going to be fastening those with these M6 by 16 millimeter bolts. So that's what you're going to use there. So here we go. I'm going to line this up and we're just going to get the screws finger tight because of course we're going to need to adjust the placement of these wheels according to the width of our frame, the actual tracks on the frame. And you know, I'm just eyeballing this right now just to kind of get it more or less in place. But whenever I rotate it around, of course, these will have to shift. So here we go, line that up nicely. And I'm just getting this threaded and a little bit screwed in so that way it doesn't all fall apart. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to rotate it around and pop those wheels on the tracks. And as you can see, I just way overshot that. So I'm going to slide the side forward And that rubber is really wanting to grip. There we go. That looks good. See what that looks like. And then I'm going to shift this one forward. Shifty, shifty, shifty. There we go. And then now this is going to be a situation where I want to put some pressure on it and just spend some time rolling it back and forth. And this is something that's really nice to have a friend, a helping hand, someone that can just press firmly, and then you get your face down here and watch all those wheels and make sure all of those wheels are rolling. I will often take a Sharpie and just mark a line across the wheel, and that way I'm able to easily see if one of them isn't rolling. I won't see that Sharpie mark fly around, right? But this actually looks really good. Sometimes whenever you're attaching the wheels, you might get a little bit of play in your carriage, like it might, as you press down on one side, it might kind of lift up almost like a teeter-totter. That's a sign that things aren't quite square, and the more pressure you put down on it, then that kind of forces it down, and then it won't do that anymore, and all the wheels will be making nice contact with the track. So I like this. This looks good. I'm very happy with it. So I'm just going to screw in these bolts. Okay, so this upgrade comes with a new channel lock for your bottom carriage. You will not have a change to the channel lock that's on your top carriage for your home sewing machine or on your long arm. You only need a channel lock to change on this bottom carriage. So the wheel that I have unscrewed here is the back left wheel if I'm looking at the back of the carriage. It is the back right wheel if you are looking at the front of the carriage. It's a little confusing, but basically you can see here is the back right-handed wheel. This is the back left-handed wheel. And so I have taken that off, and the screw that held the wheel on is too short. So this is a longer screw that's included, and it is an M6 by 20. So I'm going to take that screw, I'm going to first slot that through the channel lock, then I'm going to grab a spacer washer, that goes next, just like so, and then the wheel. And the wheel has a side that's thicker, a side that's flush. We're going to insert this to the side that is flush. So that goes like that, and then line it up with a hole. Going ahead and get that just kind of finger tight. You might lift the whole thing up off the track a bit just to get the, that screw started. That looks good. And now I'll grab my Allen wrench and finish tightening that up. Okay, so there's a good bit of play within a channel lock, and let me go over that real quick here. I get a lot of questions about this. Okay, so that looks nice and tight. That's screwed in well. The wheel is still rolling nicely. Let's see if it's going to lock down well. So you can see that locks in place, and it actually kind of slightly lifts the carriage a little bit. That might be a bit much, So how we make adjustment in here is with these two little bolts, the two little bolts right here at the bottom of our channel lock. So you may need to grab a small pair of pliers, but basically if you loosen these two little bolts between, they're right at the very end, right above the rubber stopper, what you'll find is that you can then unscrew this. You can dial down and add a little bit more space here. Now what that's going to do, of course, that's going to increase how much pressure that rubber stopper puts against your track, and you can see that's lifting my carriage that much more. A little bit over the top, actually. So I'm going to screw that in and go as tight as I can inside. See where that lands? And I actually think that where I can do even a little bit of adjustment here is the attachment of the wheel to the carriage. So if I loosen that bolt ever so slightly, then that shifted that location, and now it's not lifting it quite so much. It's still making a nice solid contact between the rubber stopper and the track, but it's not lifting the wheel up off the carriage quite so much, just a little bit. But I do want that to make a nice firm contact, so I like that. A lot of the questions that I have surrounding the channel locks is whenever this is adjusted and for some reason it's not making any connection to the track at all. There's some confusion on that. Just want to loosen that up until you can get to the point of rotating that. Then you can just rotate it, and then what you want to do to tighten it to make sure that it's not going to change position is you want to loosen that nut and basically screw it backwards so it's up against that part of the shaft. So that looks good. So that's what your goal would be if you needed to make that channel lock longer. And as you can see now, I'm twisting, I can't shift that. So there we go. That's how you would adjust your channel lock if you're needing to. So that's it for this video. If you'd like to learn more about the Hoop Frame Pro or the new dual track / back table upgrade, you can check it out at leahday.com/grace. Until next time, let's go quilt.